You see, what we're actually trying to do here is we're trying to get a feel for how people spend their day at work. So if you would you walk us through a typical day for you?
Yeah.
Great.
Well, I generally come in at least 15 minutes late. I use the side door. That way Lumberg can't see me. And after that, I just sort of space out for about an hour. Till I'm
Space out?
Yeah, I just stare at my desk. But it looks like I'm working. I do that for probably another hour after lunch, too. I'd say in a given week, I probably only do about 15 minutes of real, actual work.
All aboard!
Outdoor service owners, rise and shine. It's time to start fueling your success, one adventure at a time. Welcome to Outdoorsy Entrepreneur, brought to you by House Call Pro, where business owners come and explore ways to take charge and level up. Today, we're going to talk about underperforming employees and how business owners can manage and turn employee behaviors into good ones and turn that behavior around in 5 simple steps. We are your hosts. I am Kevin Fontaine, and this is Patrick Harders. Join us on this journey every Wednesday. Like, comment, subscribe on our YouTube channel, and listen to wherever you get your podcasts. And follow us on our social media platforms at Outdoorsy Boss. Hey, Pat, how's 4th of July? Good.
4th was good. A lot of fun. Love the fireworks. My dog hates it, so she was hiding under a table the whole time. Huge
Really?
Mastiff and is scared to death, but always fun. Family over. I cooked a pork butt, and I screwed up a pork butt, which is like the easiest. I looked at it, it's like 192, just stuck for a while, and all of a sudden, next time I checked, it was 208, and I'm like, fuck.
Damn, so it went quickly past.
Yep.
Did you wrap it?
Oh, yeah. Yep. It's still, I mean, it
was
still
still-
was
you
fine. Everybody was like, this is delicious. I'm like, no, it's not. It's pretty dry, but, you know.
Do you break
Put some
them
Carolina-
open? Yeah, okay, so you sauce it up a little?
Yeah, I cook it I started putting them in a pan, like an aluminum tray. So I cook it that way, keep all the juices. And when I wrap it, I just cover it that way. Put the grease or fat or whatever on it. So my son invited 3 friends over because we usually go pretty epic. And I just didn't get to the fireworks store. So we just had what was laying around. And like, we're lighting fountains. And he's just looking at me like,
This is not good.
really,
This is
Dad?
boring as hell.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So today we're going to talk about, identifying underperforming employees and what steps you can take to change that behavior around if they're salvageable. In today's competitive business landscape, employee performance is so crucial to your company's success. So it's very important for you as an owner to recognize behavior when it's not appropriate or it's underperforming and act quickly to turn that around. We're talking about ongoing repetitive behaviors. Pat, I've got a funny story. Back when I was younger and didn't have a lot of onboarding processes for new employees, I had a real wing dinger shooting star of an employee. We'll call him Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
And we had big landscape maintenance. So we're doing, corporate properties, etc. We're doing this big country club maintenance that we're there every week, mowing and pruning and stuff like that. And it has a clubhouse with lockers, and people play racquetball and stuff inside. And the business owner calls me a couple days later and said, "Hey, did any of your employees go into our racket club? Because someone went through the men's locker and took some of their wallets."
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, phew, golly. I was like, I hope not. Let me investigate. So sure enough, we whittled it down to finding out that this Jonathan character went in there while he was working, right?
Nice.
And snuck his way in there and did this or that. We later found out he admitted to it, and he says he has a drug problem.
Okay. Good.
And I was like, okay, well, good luck with that. See you later. Because, once you steal,
You're done.
I can't turn that around. So we fired him.
Mm-hmm.
And we normally attempt to get shirts back So, but we
So-
didn't track shirts back then. So
Not
he gave
getting
us back.
arrested in your shirt.
Yeah. So he gave us back a few shirts, and we were like, okay, good to go.
Mhm.
Yada yada. We changed key codes on Office, etc. Anytime you have a weird turnover like that, I always do protective measures for us even.
Yeah.
So we did all that. Now, fast forward a few weeks later, we start getting calls from customers saying, "Hey, Kev, I was just wondering when you're going to be able to pay us back for the tow." I'm like, "What tow? Tow truck?" She said, "Yeah, one of your employees came. Jonathan was his name. I remember Jonathan,
Hmm.
and this is the mayor, by the way, the mayor of
Nice.
Cary, and he says." Yeah, he said that you were broke down. He was broke down. It was a Saturday, and his needed some money to get a tow truck that I was unavailable, being a weekend. I couldn't get a. He said he couldn't get a hold of me, so he went and knocked on some of our customers' doors. He hit like 10 or 12 that Saturday. Asked him for money, saying our truck was broke down the street. It was within a few weeks, so they thought he still could be working for me. I didn't put out an APB on him
Yeah.
to my customers. And sure enough, he got away with a bunch of cash. And, 40 here, 50 there, 10 there. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I had to call the police. We knew exactly who it was. I had to refund all the customers' money. Of course, he didn't never pay me back, but at least
Yeah.
he was
So you
prosecuted.
had to pay for those? You had to pay the money back to the customers for? Nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we paid them all back, which we could just deduct it from their next billing or whatever. So,
Yeah.
but that was interesting. So, back in the day when I didn't have a good onboarding screening process, even a background check, drug screening, etc., we get all kinds of crazy guys and gals coming through back in the day that could really cause havoc very quickly on a company like it did me. Number one, a simple step is to research and identify the root cause of that employee's issue that you're having. Before addressing the underperformance, it's vital that you understand the root cause of the issue, analyze that data, and put it out on paper, or put it on an Excel sheet or something to visualize what it is. Is it underperforming of a job? Say they're always going over budget. Are they always using too many materials? Are they not hitting a sales goal repetitively? So put it in, analyze that data exactly to the best you can, and don't jump to conclusions. So it's important, Pat, that business owners do that investigative work up front,
Yeah.
before you get started in the process.
And I think we hired him because we had two Johnnies working for us at one time, and we were referred to one as Smart Johnny, and the other guy was working with for us about 2 months, and he finally looked at us and he's like, "Wait, if he's Smart Johnny, what does that make me?" And one of the other guys
We
like,
don't have
he's like, "You just figured that out? Like, it could have just been Johnny and Dumb Johnny, but they called the other one Smart Johnny, but turned out both of them weren't that good, so maybe they were related."
Okay. Yeah, so don't jump to conclusions, and what we like to do is performance reviews
That's
with
huge.
our employees ongoing basis. Check out their HR file. See some history there. If you're tracking time off job, vacation time, if they've been written up for anything, that will be in their HR file, or should be.
Yeah, tardiness
And-
is a really good indicator too. Like, I think that's when you see somebody just, even if it's like 5 minutes or 10 minutes late consistently, that's usually an underlying problem that you're going to see other things. And that's one of the big things that you could let anybody go at any time in just about any state for showing up late. So we do track that quite a bit, and you'll
right.
see indication on that.
That's a good point. Are you an at-will state?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can fire at will for any reason, no reason at all.
Yeah.
And you're right. If they've stole or they're doing drugs or something really bad, and you got to fire them on the spot, boom, just do it. If you're an at-will state, so check your state regulations on employees and what you have to do to let go of an employee the legal way, because if you fire someone illegally, holy shit,
Problems.
you've got
Yeah.
issues.
And I think it's good. We've hired like a partial HR person, someone that we could just consult with on an hourly basis when we get into those situations. But really important, just tracking and keeping a record of things. So if somebody's showing up late, an issue happens, that's not a big deal, but you talk to somebody, you just keep a record of that so that when
Yep.
that time comes to let them go, you have a track record. Because a lot of times we just talk to somebody, we move on, we don't write it down. And then 6 months goes by and you're like, oh. But
Yeah. We had write-up sheets, or they're kind of they're HR sheets. They were on the wall. So it was a pink sheet so everybody could visualize it. And it had all kinds of reasonings. You would fill this out, but it's even time off. Hey,
Yeah.
requesting time off, grab the pink sheet. We always tell people you got to give us 2 weeks notice if you need time off,
yeah.
and try not to do it in our busy seasons, plan your vacation accordingly.
Or everybody at the
So-
same time.
You're right. Exactly. You don't want to be hit with no staff. Hey, where's Johnny Appleseed and Rubicon? If they're all gone, you're screwed.
Yeah. And there's a great book on hiring that we implemented. I think it was Who was the book. But the main
Yeah.
premise was like past performance is the best indicator. So we always go through and say, hey, I need you to walk me through your job history. Like talk about your last 5 jobs, start with your 5th job, like 5 times ago, and tell me who your supervisor was. I need his name and his phone number.
Right.
When I reach out to him, what is he or she going to say about your performance and how you did, and what was your reason for moving on?
Right.
And that's a great indication because it shows you like if they've been fired from 2 or 3 jobs, most likely they're going to be fired from you. If they hate all their previous bosses, they're probably going to speak poorly about you in the future. So it's amazing how open people will be on that discussion and just going like, how was your last supervisor? What did you think about him? How did you perform? And you really want to be finding people that have been promoted up or moved up in their career, not someone that's constantly falling down, because this can be a great indication.
Yeah, we would always ask job references if they were eligible for rehire.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty legal question to ask that they usually would answer for us. And that was a good indicator of, because a lot of times people don't want to talk shit or bad about people that are been let go
Yeah.
because they're ticking time bombs and may retaliate
Yeah.
if they
Yep.
are found out. So a lot of times we just stuck with legal questions. And remember back in the day when you had to fax shit?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we used to fax the forms in, especially if it was a corporate location. And we're lucky to get anything back within weeks. It takes forever on that stuff. So sometimes you got to pick up the phone and call. And sometimes they'll be willy-nilly. They'll tell you everything. And sometimes they're very tight-lipped and won't tell you.
Big
They
corporations.
started this date. Yeah.
Yeah.
They left this date. Their job description was X.
That's it.
That's all I can legally tell you.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
so in lieu of job references, as far as issues that you're having with the current employee, ask others about that employee behavior or performance as well. So get involved, their superiors, a crew leader, an account manager, etc. And Pat, we like to do these performance reviews.
Yeah.
When they're a new employee, we like to do them every 6 months at least.
Yep.
And as people are with you year, 2, 3 years, then we'll do at least once a year. And guys, we have a performance review sample down in the description below, so you can check that out and follow along. And basically, I'll pull it up here. It's a very simple form. Anybody can do it on a Word doc or any kind of Google doc. And it just highlights what are the key performance indicators pertaining to that employee. And you can do this on their 90-day review, an annual, or a special circumstance like we're talking today where you want to turn someone around. I would always give Pat this out to a supervisor to fill out because they have the most knowledge more than I as an owner, because I have have a deep staff. Now, if you're just an owner and you don't have managers yet, or even a good, strong crew leader, then you would do this yourself. You're going to cover things like production, timeliness. Are they on the job consistently on time? Are they coming in with your production ranges? So, if you're doing jobs, you want to budget those hours. Are they coming in within budget? How's their attitude? So the attitude of the person, are they professional, etc. And you would grade each of these categories very simply: 1, 2, or 3. 1's not to standards, 2 satisfactory, and 3's above and excellent. So, leadership, dependability, how are they with equipment in your vehicles? Do they care for the equipment and vehicles? How's their attendance? How's their people skills, with your customers? Do they act appropriately there? Are they following safety practices? Are they wearing their PPE out there? Or are they taking it off as soon as the owner or account manager drives away? Do they throw even their uniforms, they take them off and wear wife beaters or whatever, that happens because they're hot. They don't want to wear
they don't care.
Right. They want to wear something that's comfortable. And that brings me up another story. I had an employee. I came back to a job site and he's wearing a Star Wars t-shirt. I was like, what the hell? And he's like, yeah, this is the unofficial holiday for Star Wars. What is May the 4th be with you?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's nice, but we're at a corporate setting and we're trying to get more customers. I don't think we're going to be able to do that with Star Wars.
Yeah.
We need the company shirt back on. Okay. And it's just unbelievable, the people, the way they think.
Yeah.
So, you do this, and this is going to get you back in line with that employee. And let me go back here.
I think it's important to, set the right atmosphere, because a lot of times, like, I've had people working for me and then something happens, I fire them, and then their crew leader comes up, is like, yeah, he was doing this, this, and this. I didn't want to say anything. And I'm like, what do you mean you didn't want to say anything? So it's like they didn't want to be a snitch. They didn't want to. They feel it's like management versus the personnel, and so it's like, no, we have an atmosphere that we're trying to create a great work environment, and I can't give you great people to work with unless you're, really working with me to develop the team. It's not something that, it's management versus the employees. It's we're all here together to get the best environment so that it's good to show up to work every day.
Yeah, and you hit a good point. So business owners, we get hit with a lot of this stress of managing others, right? If you don't have an account manager, general manager, or someone beneath the owner, man, all that hits your shoulders every day. You are now in charge of their success, as well as payroll, as well as advertising. It's just daunting. And so that's why it's so important for young business owners to have a matrix of data and a great job description and a great company handbook to outline the behaviors you expect from that employee and parameters that are calculable. You can justify payroll by, if they hit their numbers, if they hit sales goals, you're going to put an exact number that they have to reach within a certain time frame. And Pat, that's huge with expectation. Is not only do I expect you to sell $100,000 this month if he's a salesman, I also, you're putting a timeline on that. It's not $100,000 whenever you can. It's by 30 days in goal, right? You got to put a timestamp on anything you expect with your employees.
Yeah.
If your truck needs to be cleaned, when do you expect that to be done by, and how often each time?
And those reviews are important. I think, a lot of us as business owners, we're not used to that. I've never really been an employee. I had my first job when I was like 10, but after I hit like 17, I went off on my own, or 18, and started my own business for the most part. So, the idea of a business, a review with an employee was something like going to the principal's office, where your employees actually want that. They want that, accountability. They want to know what they're doing well, at least the good employees. They want to know what's going on. And So often we'll bury our heads in the sand and go like, hey, if there's no trouble, you're not going to hear anything from me. You're only going to be brought in when there's something bad happening. And it's much better to be proactive and say,
Yeah.
like, I think 3 months from starting someone off to go, catching good behaviors and rewarding that and finding behaviors that they need improvement in. And
Yep.
a lot of times during that discussion, it'll open up. I had a girl one time that I gave 12 different things that she was doing really well. And then I said, here's one thing to improve upon. And she got so like hurt that there wasn't something that wasn't perfect that
Right.
never recovered. I'm like, well, that's just a red flag right there that you're not teachable. If I can't teach
Right.
you, I can't train you. This isn't going to work out. So
Yeah. So step 2 is schedule a one-on-one meeting with the employee in question and make it private. So it's just one-on-one, you and them.
Yeah.
And frame the discussion constructively, focus on specific examples and data rather than any personal feelings you may have or attacking. Don't do that. This is very flat, black and white, data driven,
non-emotional.
non-emotional. We're just covering, say, a performance review that you have already filled out, so it's ready to go. I would give that performance review to them, a copy, and we would go over this together as talking points.
Mhm.
And then actively listen to their perspective and be open to understanding any challenges they may be facing. So, it's their time to open up to you, Pat, as the employee to owner, or if it's a manager they're talking to, and they may have something going on. It may
Yep.
be something that is bugging them, and that's why they're underperforming. And you're just trying to drive that out
Yeah.
and get it on the open table.
And one point you had, it's really important. I think praise in public, when you have to go through something that's a little more challenging or criticize it all, you do that privately. If you
Yeah.
do it in front of people, all of a sudden it becomes a, call on their personality, their ethics, everything else. And so, those are always one-on-one talks, and you have to have those hard talks.
Yeah, exactly. So maintain that during that one-on-one. Focus on that real data. If they're not coming in on time or if they're not performing to your standards,
Mhm.
quality control standard, or is it budget? If they're always taking too long or you've had to go back on their jobs too often, those are things that you need turned around. And actively listen to them, enjoy their perspective, and write down their talking points. So that shows them that you're interested in what they have to say and that you're taking notes. That's always a good way. And then summarize the meeting and thank them for participating in the meeting, and let them know how many days before you'll have an action plan compiled for them to go over. So a lot of times with these performance reviews or emergency review, you're going to develop an action plan. So part of that performance review, which we have in the link in the description below for you guys, is goal setting. So, okay, we have this issue today. I would ask them, how many days do you think it's going to take you to turn this around? Or come up to standard, come up to anything that you are having the issue with. And I would get them say, I don't know, I could do it in a couple weeks. I'm going to put 30 days from now, you will have this issue resolved. Is that okay with you? Okay, good. So I buffer it for them. So I wouldn't because they don't, sometimes they're just flying off they haven't thought about it yet.
Yep.
So I would make sure that it's realistic when I'm talking to them as the owner. And I'd say, okay, let's put 30 days or whatever it is for you in that situation. And then you're going to compile all that information, put it back into a goal setting strategic plan for them. And then a week goes by or whatever it takes you, then you give it to them and say, here's our action plan. And we're going to circle back on this within that time frame that you've set. So that's it. So number 3 is develop that action plan and that performance improvement plan. We call that a PIP, performance improvement plan. And collaboratively, you're going to set these SMART goals. What are SMART goals? They're specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Always time bound is so crucial. Whenever you in passing with someone, hey, did you take care of that thing? Oh no, I didn't get that yet. Well, I need it done by boom, date,
Yeah.
time. Always have time in everything you do as a business owner, because without it, people lollygag. They won't put it in their peripherals to get it done for you. So make sure you always put very specific expectation. And then part of this action plan, you're defining specific actions that person needs to take.
Yeah.
Pat, it might be they need more training.
Yep.
Maybe they don't understand the piece of equipment, the string trimmer, the mower, the wire trencher, and then boom, that's part of that goal setting expectation. Is you're going to have a class with Site One, or you're going to go with your manager, Jim, next week, and he's going to spend some time with you on this equipment and get you up and at 'em with that. So you're just now, this number 3 plan is just about setting expectation and a clear timeline of when you want these taken care of.
Yeah. And there's a really good book on when you do have to have that difficult discussion. It was Discipline Without Punishment. And so like so often we're just keeping a checklist of like, hey, you did something wrong. You did something wrong. And they feel like you're just marching them to their firing. And so it's demoralizing. So
Right.
Discipline Without Punishment was like, I'm going to bring somebody in. And one thing that they promoted in was like, I don't send somebody home without pay for a day. Because when I do that, they come back and now they're more pissed off because they're like, yeah, he sent me home. I didn't get paid. So instead he's like, hey, you've been late 4 times this week. So I want to talk to you about this and say, this is not acceptable. You need to be ready to, when 7:30 hits or 7 a.m., like you're on the clock and you're working. You're not showing up at that moment. Because this isn't happening, we need to come up with an agreement. And first of all, you need to take some time to make a decision if you want to come and still work for this company.
That's right.
So I'm going to send you home for the day. I'm going to pay you.
Yeah.
We're going to meet back on Wednesday and we're going to talk about this. You make a decision about staying with the company, but now we have a new agreement. So
That's right.
as long as you show up on time from this point forward, I'll forget about everything that happened. It's history, but
Right.
this is our new agreement. And if it doesn't work out, then it's not going to work out in this position because you've now broken the agreement.
That's right. Yeah. That's the sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
This is nip it in the bud and pulling them aside. And if that's something you have to have corrected right away, take care of it. And that happens to work a lot, Pat, when you set people down and say, look, you're doing this way too many times.
Yeah.
This is not acceptable. I pay you good money to perform and provide a product for our customers. Are you going to tell me to get someone else to do that? Or do I need to pay someone else to do your position?
Yeah.
And then let them think on it, come back and reset. And then a lot of times they'll turn the leaf. We used to say always too, on time is late.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that run in right at 7 or whenever we started. And we always tell people, no, get here 15 minutes before start time because they still get paid for it.
Yeah.
But our official start time, our trucks are leaving at 7. Get here 10 minutes early before then so you can, talk to your supervisor, see the job board, what's going on today, do the loose ends, grab a cup of coffee that we got firing up in the kitchen every morning to get them caffeinated as hell.
Yep.
It's being on time is crucial because the train is a rolling, baby.
Yeah, it has to, because you could lose so much of your day if it's like you say you're starting at 7:30, they come in and clock in at 7:30, go get the cup of coffee, go use the restroom, talk to somebody else. All of a sudden it's like 8:20 and you have 7 guys that are still not
waiting
out to, then you start adding the overtime in and you're like, why am I getting so much overtime? It's because that first 45 minutes every day with 7 guys is dying.
Downtime.
Yeah.
Screw that, man. So that's crucial, man. The expectation of get in, be efficient, boom, you're out doing jobs, boom, you're coming back before traffic, boom, you're clocking out, you're taking care of your truck and trailers and equipment and all that stuff as well. So it's very important. And that's part of job descriptions. Be very specific in what you expect them to do on a daily routine and just list that. I want you here 10 minutes before start time. Our start time changes throughout the seasons as we adapt to hot and cold. So list that as well. Summertime start time is 6.
Yeah.
Wintertime start time is 9. Whatever your part of the earth you're in, where you have to adjust to seasonalities like that. But we would put it in and then make them understand it, read it. Here's your copy, sign it. That goes in their HR file.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing to come back on during performance reviews if that's being part of the issue. And then ongoing, number 4 is providing ongoing coaching and support. So you can't just stop there. Oh, I got the issue resolved. They changed it. Okay, good. You got to keep that support essential throughout the employee's tenure and offering them regular, constant feedback, like Pat, you're talking about, recognizing and praising when it's needed, when it's deserved, going above and beyond. You've got to have that support process in your company and culture. And so that's where support and making it fun, and that's where you have leaderboards, you have spin the wheel to get gift cards, you have all kinds of fun things to reward good and great behavior, and make it a fun thing that you can do during a monthly public meeting that you have, where it's very general, like you talk about, hey, we hit our goal this month, and hey, we just gave Rodney a promotion. Hey, all right. And those are the things. And you cook barbecue and you have cornholio going and you're popping tops, and this is after hours, whatever. But you make it fun.
Yeah.
And make it a day about them, rewarding them. We did it. We hit this goal. Boom. Get them excited for next month. You may have a bigger and better prize for employee of the month, or someone who gets the most customer accolades, or any kind of thing that you want to put as a parameter of a fun goal as well,
And it doesn't always have to be huge. It could be, you could do small things like, parking spot. You get the first parking spot. I know a company that did a huge contest for a new ice machine, one of the crushed ice machines. And it was a couple $1,000 or something like that. But they had everybody working like crazy to hit this goal so they get this ice machine. And then, for a month after, everyone's like walking around with this ice, these little crushed ice cubes. But it's like, it's creating things that it's not always like, hey, you're going to get a $1,000 bonus if you do this, but like mixing it up and having fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Coke machines, ice. We used to always have bags of ice that they took and put in their igloos, and hell, give them kick-ass, what are those, coolers, little travel coolers.
The Yetis or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I do a Yeti.
Fake Yeti.
I may be going to Walmart for that one. But give them cool stuff, maybe a tumbler, a cool tumbler. What do they like? Are they, what do they like? Are they fishermen?
Yeah.
You'll start to understand they like to hunt and fish. So a lot of times we'd give them like some cool camo. We'd have all kinds of cool things that are pretty generally a good gift. I would like to have this. Maybe it's a windbreaker that's got a cool little camo detail on it, and that just hints to them liking that hunting and fishing type lifestyle.
Yeah, the outdoors.
Yeah,
which they all,
and just
all typically like if they're working outside.
Yeah, I mean, even our employee uniforms, we would do things like that. Have like a special run of something really cool from time to time, because them wearing the same damn shirt every day for a year. It's kind of cool to have this add-on that they can wear. It still's got your company emblem on it. So things like that, boots, etc. So number 5 is document everything. So this is the last step in turning employee behavior around for the better. Maintain a record of all important conversations and any performance reviews. You're going to put that in their HR file, and you're going to start tracking your employees' growth and goals that they are setting. Like, hey, I've got a guy that just mows yards, but he wants to become a spray tech down the road. Okay, well, let's send him to get his pesticide license.
Yep.
So Fridays we usually were light days because we worked 4 10s. So Friday we had the time to send them to school, and it wouldn't obstruct our workload. So, take a half day Friday, you pay for them to go, you pay for the class, and they get their pesticide license. Boom. That's one more goal that they have on their quest for spray tech position. So you're just starting to build your people to things that they would naturally aspire to be better. And if you can have a position, open it up for someone through better sales, and you're growing as a company, you're going to have more and more positions available that are higher paying. So, work that into your ongoing support, and remember to document all this, because it's so important, Pat, that we don't bring our personal, emotional self into conversation, because we could be hot-headed as owners at times. So, bring that down, bring that back, maybe give it a day or two before you meet with them if it was something that happened that you were really upset about, and bring real data in front of you, in front of that person. Nobody can deny real data, right? It is black and white, and that's what you want as a business owner, because that's going to take the stress off of you. And look, numbers don't lie. We are talking about real data. You were absent yada yada days out of such and such time frame. You came under budget or over budget on your times. You're always getting overtime. The others aren't. Why are you coming in at 45 hours a week every damn week?
Yeah.
That's real data. That's their time card. You have that. So, go over those with these people. Performance reviews are excellent, and they're a great tool for a business owner to stay on the same page with their employees. And we want our employees to be happy, hopeful, and have a great place to work that's safe to work in. And they have a culture of, we are a team, we're doing something that's bigger and better than ourselves, and we're together going to do this as a team, and we got a bright future here, and I can make money here, and I have a career here.
Yeah. And I heard a good quote that was, when you talk about culture, the first 4 letters of culture's cult. And you almost create this cult like, hey, we are the best, and we're part of something great. And as a leader, we're painting the vision, because a lot of times, we just assume everybody thinks the way we do. But, we tend to be, as entrepreneurs, more visionary. So we want to start casting that vision of going like, have you thought about, what your future is going to be like, moving up, opportunities. And I think, that vision is really important. So we always say, act like you're a level above where you're at. Assume the position as, if you're cutting grass and you have a supervisor, start acting like the supervisor. And I think the one thing that we always talk about is, if I could trust you with something small, I could trust you with something larger. Because a lot of times people say like,
right,
well, I'm not doing this, but if you gave me more responsibility, I'd do more. Or you have like a supervisor say, I think this person's not doing this well, but if we gave them more responsibility, they're going to rise to the challenge.
Could be.
I find it never happens. I'm going to say like,
Really?
It's usually like, if I trust somebody with something small and they outperform it, I can trust them with something larger and larger.
Yeah.
Where if it's like, they're not doing what I asked them to do, so now I'm going to give them more responsibility, they usually fail even more so. So you're challenging people, but you're handling that problem early, where rather than letting it become a problem, you're saying, if you're not acting like you're above the position you're at, then I don't see you getting into leadership. I want, when that job comes open, that everybody's like, well, of course, Danny's going to take that spot. He's basically doing it now anyway. So
yeah,
you could have that culture.
You could definitely have high performing employees that are under challenged. And so they will be lazy, do it in half the time as others in your organization. So people like to be challenged. So make that a part of your goals and implement that into their career path, to challenge them and see if they hit the note, hit the dot, cross the finish line on each step you like to do as a challenging movement for them. Because like you said, Pat, you like to start with one task and see if they do it really great, and then give them another one behind it if they did such thing.
The old saying, if you want something get done, give it to a busy person.
Okay.
You know, it's like if somebody's not doing anything, you start giving them more tasks. It's different than when you have that person that it's like, hey, I know you already have a lot going on, but I need you to do this. They tend to rise to the challenges because that's just their ingrained personality, where it's like they want to make sure they get everything done that they're supposed to get done. And so you're looking for those people that take that responsibility, take the ownership, and you know, when you talk to them, they feel like they say like, this is my company. They have ownership in it. And so you're trying to rise those people up in your company and build your company around those people, because then your job becomes so much easier. You're not checking on them because they're already performing at a high level and they're expecting it of others.
Yeah, man. We're always searching for those superstars, people that are believing in your team culture, and that's who you want to wrap your arms around and progress with them down your career, making your company great. So that wraps up this episode, guys. Let us know what employee issues you're having and put them in the comments. And make sure you subscribe to the Outdoorsy Entrepreneur YouTube channel and hit those notifications and listen to wherever you get your podcast, and follow us on our social media platforms at Outdoorsy Boss. Business tools we use and highly recommend: Big Tuna websites, House Call Pro, and ZebBit. We got money-saving links down in the description below. Big thanks to everybody watching. Hope this Wednesday is going to be a very productive one for you guys. And we can't wait to see you guys in the next episode.